Okay, well, we're going to start back in on the Outsound 135 QE 30 cal. Get this stock, get the big gouge sanded down on this other side here, and get the dings out, take all the metal parts off, citrus strip, and get all the finish off, and all over it, and including the checkering there. And then we'll raise the grain with some water and a rag and get that dried real good, and then we'll have the stock refinished like my 1000 XS over there when it's all said and done. So by then, the seals and all that'll come in, and I have to get the mounting hardware for the forestock in. I got to get new stuff. The owner of the rifle decided he doesn't want to do that, put in that hot rodded gas ram. He wants me to put the seals in and refinishing it, fix it up and everything, and leave it as is. So, having gotten that information today, we will proceed as planned with the basics and get this thing back together and working right. I kept getting the feeling it wasn't right to start with, but I don't know. I think it could have just been it probably just needed a breech seal. Because my long Winchester over here, the 1400 CS, only got about 20 shots out of the factory seal before it blew, and I had to put in another one. Good thing I bought 3 of those, because now since Trump changed the import laws and all that stuff, it's almost impossible to find parts for some of these. And some of us complained, and hopefully complaints didn't fall on deaf ears and that'll get fixed. But anyway, this OPS, this self-quarantine thing isn't a big change for us retirees. I mean, my car needs an engine. It finally gave up on me, and that's a good thing now. And I go to put a long block in it. It doesn't need e-check anymore. It's past the point where it needs it. And I can also get those. Well, it's 25 years old. I can get them those special vehicle plates and junk like that, and kicking that around. But anyway, so once I get that fixed, I don't have to bother with e-check anymore, and I can just drive the car. I can stand on that just buddy if I want, which is fun. I like corner burning. We'll be doing some videos on that. But for now, we will get this Turkish walnut 30 cal stock, 135 QE by the way, cleaned up and refinished in its natural wood color, like I showed you guys on the original on the first video, with the 95 Turkish walnut 95 stock over here that's got my striker action in it. Just a 22 Springer, but that thing, I shot it like a 5 or 6 shot group that fit inside the rim of a dime at 25 yards, which equals 75 feet. So that's average minimal hunting distance within an inch or so at 50 yards. So that ain't bad, Dad. But this 30 cal's got to hit like a hammer when I get done with it. And you don't need those 200, 220 PSI gas rounds, because it's too little return for all the hardship you're putting on that rifle. You get this, it's going to hammer the innards out of it eventually. and a lot sooner than it will in stock configuration. So without further ado, let's hit it. Okay, got my Brownell's apron on here to kind of keep some of the dust and funk off me. I got some coarse sandpaper and a storing stick is all I can find to use for sanding block at the moment to sand that down. Try to blend it in down this way, since over here you got, you know, your check ring and everything, which I also have to clean up and finish taking all this stuff off to citrus strip it and everything. That's a mess and a lot of work to clean that stock down to bare wood and get it nice and smooth so I can recoat it. But it'll also show the grain more. You can kind of see it here a little bit when the sun shines on it. And it'll be that color when I'm done with it. Just the grain figuring will be different. So we'll get the sanding on this and see how that turns out. Okay, that's after cutting it down with some coarse sandpaper. You can see there's some dark underlying stain there. Like I said, these hot sands got like 3 layers of stain on it. I don't know how the grain shows through. Anyway, you can kind of feel that a little bit. It looks deeper than it really is at this point. And I started blending it back that way to finish cutting down the wood in front of the gouge there so that it'll cut the gouge itself down some more and even it out. So I only have to sand on that side. It was a wee little bit indented, a little lower, in other words, where the gouge is, where I sanded it first, and when I start blending it back that way, feather edging it, and that'll level that out pretty good, where you won't really see it. So that'll work. I got to get new hardware for that. So I got the seals coming in from Russia, but I'm hoping I can get the parts from the Hot Sign USA. So we'll see. Okay, I got that sand on. You can still kind of see a shadow there, but that's just after coarse sandpaper. By the time I use fine and 400, 600, 800, and after I use the citrus strip and use water to raise the grain and sand it, get it really smooth, that'll disappear. And I'll get out my checkering tools to sharpen those dings and dangs and gouges back up. But that was a major one there. That's just no way I could get away with without refinishing this stock. It had to be sanded down. So we will definitely get this stock refinished and try to get that done by the end of April. When the parts come in, we can start working on the mechanical stuff. Gotta take these steel rods and all that stuff out of there too. And there's the butt pad, and then there's looks like a metal plate or something right here. I'm gonna paint the edges of that white, glass white, so that right there, so that it'll look a little better when it's done. Okay, I took the trigger guard off, all the metal parts for the cheek piece here. Now these are pressed in, so I can't take those out. I'll have to use some painter's tape on it to cover them up when I go to use citrus strip to take the finish off. And interesting how that's hollow there. And I'll have to finish that in there too, as you can see. Now this is where it gets, where the fun starts. Okay, that's what the butt stock looks like with 3 layers of parts removed. Okay, this is the part that goes against your shoulder more directly. Now in this center hole right here goes a 5/32 Allen bolt, hex key bolt, whatever you want to call it. Now once you get that bolt out, this is how it slides like that to adjust the raise or lower the shoulder, the butt pad here to fit your shoulder as to where the gun is and all of that. So once you do that, you then have to take this off. There's 2 silver Phillips screws on either end. Get that off with a larger, say a medium-sized Phillips. Then you got to use the smaller Phillips to get this off. This is the last underlying piece I was pointing at before. That you see this little black, black bead right here. Well, I'm going to paint that bead white. Get this cleaned up real good, paint it white. So you have a black and white butt piece. It'll be a little fancier. Yeah, that's 3 layers of stuff you got to take off for that adjustable butt pad. Okay. Screws fit pretty tight too. Now, instead of having an engraved grip cap, they just engraved the end of the grip. Interesting how Hotson has that bow and arrow like Diana, the Huntress, on the German air rifle. Interesting thing there. And when it's really dinged up, someone's got to watch where they put this thing. That'll come off when I take the finish off and raise the grain and sand it smooth and all of that. So no problems there. But boy, am I going to have to touch up the checkering. And you can feel these dings on the corners. There ain't a whole lot I can do to fix that, but I can minimize it with a little block sanding. Some more up there is, once I get done sanding and all of that, this will get all smooth and everything. It'll look great when I put the true oil on it. And once again, bag your parts. Bag them up so you don't lose them, and you even use Ziploc bags, which I usually do, and then put a strip of tape on it and a marker to say what rifle it's for. Found the rest of my screwdrivers, and I got these at the tool center. Oh, the Harbor Freight place up on the corner that took over the Sears Tool Center. So once again, it was the one on the end here, the 5/32 for that butt pad bolt. You loosen that a little bit, you can adjust it up and down, or you take it out and take 2 more layers out under that to get them all off. Again, as you see right here, you can use some Birchwood Casey cleaner degreaser to clean those up and get into tight spots with Q-tips. It just cleans really nice. That hard rubber, vinyl, whatever. But we got it all take it apart completely, so now we can get this stock finished. Start doing a citrus strip tomorrow. Once I get it stripped and all the basically get all the finish off everywhere that I need to get it off, I can use alcohol and then water and everything to clean it down, and I use brass brushes on the checkering there and get that all nice and clean so I can fix it. So tomorrow we will get on it and start the transformation. Ready to use the citrus strip. I call it a stripping gel, but it's actually more like a thick orange syrup. Anyway, and I got the rods for the cheek riser taped off with old painter's tape and a pair of scissors there. Anyway, was going to use that, but that's foiled cardboard and you need a metal can, so I cleaned out a bean can here to pour the stuff in. Can't use a foam brush, they just turn to goop and fall apart, so I'm going to try this one. And here's the stock metal coat hanger I'm using for a hanger. Now once I get this done, I can hold it by the rods and basically hang it like that for 30 minutes, about 30 minutes up to 24 hours it says. I hope it's only 30 minutes like last time. I hate stripping these things. It's just a big fat pain in the ass. But what are you going to do? That's just the easiest way to not remove any wood while you're taking the finish off. Besides getting in the checkering. That's like the only way to get in that checkering. Hey, once I got an old piece of bubble wrap there I'm going to use for a drip pad, drip cloth, whatever. So after I start cleaning this thing, I'll give you a look at it. Okay, that's got to sit for maybe another 25 minutes or so. That's what it looks like anyway. Hope that shit don't dry. It's always the hard part. Let it sit. I also got inside the forks right there. I'll have to stain it down to about there or so, right where that curve is, because you can kind of see that. And it's hanging up there real nice. So let that hang there while we take a plastic spatula and scrape the stock. Just hope my brush doesn't get ruined there, because I still got some stuff in there. Might just take that in the bathroom and wash it out. Okay. Here's the cheek piece. That came out pretty good. Somebody took all my doggone scraper, or putty knives, whatever. I had to use the edge of a paint stirring stick as a scraper. Damn kids gotta learn, when you use something, put it back where you found it. My daughter wants to keep it. Well, I use it all the time. Well, I use it too, and it belongs to me. You know, they don't understand yours, mine, and ours. They think if you bought it, then it means you bought it to put in the house for the family, and they can have, when they move out, they can just cherry pick and take whatever they want. So now a lot of my shit's missing. It takes a lot of money to constantly replace everything because they keep taking it. You get a new one, they bring back the old one, then they take the new one. I'm gonna throw them all out. lock everything up and say, you can't use my shit anymore if you're not going to put it back. Okay, well anyway. There's what the stock looks like after stripper scraping and then using green Scotch-Brite pad dipped in mineral spirits. That dissolves the stuff, fills the grain, and kind of tints the wood a little bit. That's going to get sanded off eventually. That's got to get sanded some more right there. You just about can't feel it, but you can still see it, so I just have to sand some more. But that'll fill the grain in real nice. So that once I finish getting the checkering cleaned out, you'll see the darker grain streaks running through it. That's pretty cool. So I'll getting close to the top of the hill, and it'll be looking good when it's done. About 4 or 5 coats of true oil, and we'll be there. Just have to finish getting that grain filled in real good so I can do everything else. And then by the time those doggone seals get here, I can have this thing done and start working on the damn action, and then get that put back together. I'll fire half a dozen shots to test it, and that's it. Just hoping this thing's not going to blow itself apart or come apart somehow before I get it done and shipped back. After that, I'm done. This stock was so beat up I had to refinish it. There was just no choice. So there's that part. We'll let it dry so it can fill in the grain, and I can use another Scotch-Brite pad to rub over the surface and get all the chemicals, residue and everything else off there that I didn't get. And it'll start looking better and better. Looks worse before it looks better, trust me. It was like that with this one over here. 90 oh phooey. Striker 1000X action in a Model 95 stock with the forks cut down. So that's the tone of wood you're going to get on this one. Pretty close anyway. Okay, now they got the finish stripped off and rubbed and scrubbed with mineral spirits. I can start using some of these green Scotch-Brite pads to get the blotches and everything, get that muddy stuff out of the checkering, besides using some checkering tools to fix the gashes and everything as much as I can. And get it all nice and cleaned up to finish it. Okay, well, after trying a couple of spots, I can see I need to start with fine sandpaper. It makes it real smooth. You see a bit of a sheen on the wood from that green Scotch-Brite. So I'll finish with the Scotch-Brite to make it nice and smooth and give it that eggshell gloss sort of look. And that'll make it better for making all the pretty grain figuring on this Turkish walnut to show up. And I think I've got one sheet of fine sandpaper left. I've cut in half. I'll do that and then go up to 400, 600, 800, that sort of thing, to try to get this finished up real nice. Get it ready for to finishing, and then when the seals finally get here, I could put that together. Custom 4-stock bolt mount that'll still take a swivel. Gotta find some 1-inch, those belt tightener kind of things like you use on a helmet on the strap. I need those for a 1-inch strap. Gotta find some place to buy those. Okay, here's some initial sanding. There's a lot more sanding to be done to get it clean and smooth. So initial sanding on this side, I'll even have to get around real tight in around the check ring with a Dremel and a wire wheel real light. Be surprised, it's hard wood, it doesn't damage the wood. Just sandpaper pretty hard, so I probably should have went over it again with another coat of stripper and a couple of blotchy places there to try to get this stuff out of there, but I thought, well, I just sand it off and it's taking longer. You can kind of just start seeing some of the grain character in the wood. Doesn't have as much grain character as my 95 stock I put the striker in, but it'll look nice when it's done. You can see the grain there. Don't know exactly what you're gonna get until you stain it though. Well, stain it or finish it or whatever. It's getting true oil. It's not gonna be blonde wood either. It's gonna be darker. Like that over there, like dark amber. That's what it'll look like with true oil. That's Turkish walnut. So that's it. That's it for right now. I've got to give my arm a break. Getting too old for this shit. Okay. Here's the stock after citrus strip and washing it and wiping it down with mineral spirits, acetone and all that stuff. And finally 80 grit, which didn't work real well, and then 180 grit, which worked beautifully to get around all through those compound curves, the little finger notch behind the grip and around the check ring and everything. Here's the other side. I got it pretty clean, just need to go over it with 320 and 400, 600, then hit it again with the green Scotch-Brite pad. Get it nice and smooth before I start applying the true oil. Okay. Mr. Snyder decided he wanted me to send it off to another tuner, and I just got the stock sanded down nice with 180 grit, as you just saw, and now I got it reassembled, wrapping up a bubble wrap, and then I'll take this box of stuff here and pellets over there and baggie of small parts, some of which need to be replaced, and send it along to the tuner in the box here. And drop that off at the UPS store up the street and send that off to the next guy. So That's the way it goes sometimes, folks. No doubt what this is. Okay, there it is, basically wrapped up except for one more layer of bubble wrap I'm going to lay over the top. Kind of like the third layer of wrappings on a mummy. You know, put some brown, heavy brown paper over the box so they can't see what it is. And the tin with some pellets in it right there. A new suppressor that goes on the end of the barrel to lengthen it and make it easier to cock and all that. And the 220 psi gas cylinder for the gas ram, whatever for it. I ain't putting that thing in there. That'll tear the guts out of it. Slowly or quickly. Sometimes within 10-12 shots it just ripped the guts out of the thing. It also kicks harder and all that stuff. This thing wasn't designed to take that kind of pressure. So if he wants to do that, fine. He wanted me to send it off to the next guy, so that's what I'm doing. Just stopped cold. And the barrel's got got 3 or 4 layers of wrap on it at least. That'll be protected good enough to send it off to the next guy. Okay, I barely got it. Got the rifle with the packing and all them extra parts in there. I had to sit on that damn thing to get it shut, but I got it. I'll wrap that in some heavy brown paper to ship it off so they don't know what it is, or at least they'll have to guess. And it'll go on down the road. Okay. That's about it for this time. It didn't go the way we thought it would, but yeah, just chalk it up to shit happens. So, good Lord willing, the creeks don't rise. We'll see you again. Although, not as often, because I don't think I'm going to be working on these rifles anymore. I'm going to start doing testing again or something. We'll see.